we are all given as Swamis the last name Ananda. Chinmayananda, Tejomayananda. What does it mean? Anand is bliss. Bliss means something which we all seek. But how does one get Ananda is a secret. In life, there must be some secret, otherwise it will be boring. Correct? If everything is open, then it is not interesting. The secret should be there. But this secret of happiness is not only secret, it is sacred. Because it is not somewhere out there, it is within us. That is why it is secret, and as well as it is sacred. Because we are, ourselves are the original abode of what we are looking for. Because it is hidden as though within us, it is not available for us to see or experience. And the Guru is one who is able to divert our attention towards that. And once we discover, we wonder why we are not looking at it for so long a time. Even though it is available the closest, yet it looks like as though it is not available to us. Now I'll ask you a simple question. Many of you might have heard this from me. Are you ready to sleep right now?
No.
How far the sleep from you now? Is it something that is outside you or inside you? The state of sleep, I'm not talking about dream, state of sleep, which if I keep talking in another few, you don't stop in an hour, and if you keep talking for 2-3 more, you will all go to that point. Or you have had a heavy dinner. So how far is the state of sleep from you right now? It is a question of when you get ready, you get prepared, after you're finishing the day's work or after having dinner, when you wind down after seeing the Netflix movie or finishing all your email. So I said, I think I have to go to sleep. You're not going anywhere. Are you going somewhere? Or maybe you go to the bedroom. At that moment, when you go to the bedroom and lie down, where does the sleep come from? From outside. Yes, Swamiji, it is hanging on the bedroom above. And when I lie down, it just starts descending on my head. Is that so? Tell me.
No.
Just as the state of sleep in which we find ourselves one with ourselves, peaceful, with no problems or outside, no jagda with anybody. Dog also goes to sleep. So I am with me, with nobody else. Correct or not? And everybody does every day. So too, the state of Ananda is already there. But we are busy with something else. We are busy with working in the world during the waking or dreaming, or we are get into the slumber of sleep and then wake up again, work, tired, dream little bit, sleep, work. This is what. But there is this fourth state. That's what Vedanta talks about. There is a state not only about the waking, which you are right now, or when you go to the state of dream, that is the second stage, or you go to the sleep, that is the third stage. There is a fourth stage. It's called Chaturtham. That when you discover, that state is called Anand, which is available even now. But because we are either not trained to go there, or we do not know that it is there. First of all, we do not know that it is there. Second is we are not trained to reach that point. We have no guidance to that, or we do not have a willingness to go. So when somebody is discovering that Ananda within oneself and then tells others, like the Guru says, hey, you can go there. Retire ke baad mein karunga. Why do we postpone it? Because we are so happy with other things. The pleasures of the senses or the various other things that we do. We are so busy with those things. Therefore, we are not even having an interest to discover this. One who has decided to go in that way exclusively is or she is given the last name Ananda. Chinmayananda, Tejomayananda, Ishwarananda, Swarupananda. Because they are now decided, nah, I am not interested in all other things. I want to go towards that Ananda. Now you understand. So the bliss which we are talking about is available to us even now. Something you want?
No, I'm saying, should I make a brochure?
Brochure?
Should I make a
Okay, okay. Let's not. So now this state of bliss is said to be a state where there is no more bondages of the mind. Bandhat vimuktihi ananda. See, in our state of waking, what happened? We do many things and then we go to sleep. We'll continue the same thing next day. Whatever responsibilities that you have had, which you have not completed today, next day it starts again. So there is no end at all in this process because action never ends. Action gives result, results makes you to act again. That gives again action, again result, again action, again result. And it is said that even as you physically die also it doesn't end. Because what you did in this life, result of which next year, your life you have to start again. When does it end? That state of Ananda is where all the bondages come to an end. Bandhat vimuktihi Ananda. Sukam bandhat pramuchyate, Bhagavan Krishna says. Bandhat pramuchyate, with all bondages. Swamiji, we like bondage. Some people say. We like bondage. We want to get entangled. Unfortunately, that is true. If not only not the relationship that we have had, we add more also, like a cat or a dog. More bondage also. Think about it.
Yeah,
Adding more. Already Bhagavan has given some. Add more also. Because that's what and we know that I cannot go to anywhere, Swamiji, that is there. But I like the playing with that. That is how everything catches you. Swamiji, I want to get rid of this phone for some time. But when the phone, a message comes, immediately pick up that. Is it not true? I ask these people, why are you so caught up with this phone? Swamiji, my daughter is somewhere and she will call me. When we were growing up also, people were there and then how did they call me then? You tell me. When you were growing up, was there a cell phone? And how your mother was worried about where you, even if she's worried, she will find out from somebody and where you are. Now every 2 minutes, where are you? What are you doing?
Checking message.
How get we see, this is how we get trapped. We get trapped by our own possessions. The world, don't blame the world. World is not doing anything. Cell phone is not catching you. You are catching the cell phone. Cell phone is not, I want to come with you. No, we are only caught up with that. Everything in this world is our own creation of bondage. And we keep on blaming others. So one who recognizes that it is my choice to get entangled in these things, and again, it is my choice to not entangle with this. This decision one who has taken alone is ready for the path towards Ananda. So that which Bhagavad-Gita gives is Paramaananda-pradaayai Namah. It gives you the absolute freedom. In freedom alone, there is joy. See, that fellow was shouting me. What is the difference between outside and inside? Now it is free. It's not cut. I want freedom. Don't put me in a room. Come out, I am free. Is it not true? Even that dog knows I am miserable if nobody is looking at me or I am not with the people. The moment you release him and put him in that. So every one of us want to be free. Now, Bhagavan Krishna in Gita says there are 3 levels of joy. Bliss is also joy only, of course. Otherwise, it's not a sorrow. Bliss is also joy, like an ultimate joy. But this ultimate joy, which is already within you, for which you don't need to hold on to anything or to achieve anything, accomplish anything. It is not an experience born out of senses or the mind or emotions or the feelings. It is beyond that. It's not an emotion. Just like when you say, I had slept very well, next day morning, how was your sleep? Very good. What did you achieve? Nothing. Did you accomplish anything? No. Did you win an argument with your wife? No. Did you got promoted? No. Did you enjoy anything by eating or hearing some? No. What do you call that as joy? A joy where you are not disturbed. Isn't that true? And we all want that state for at least 6 to 8 hours every day. Not to be disturbed. Correct or not? Even the dog wants it. So Bhagavan Krishna says, in our life, if you want to reach that state of disturbanceless, state of bliss, we have to prepare ourselves, for which we have to start with Sattvika Sukham. First, understand 3 types of Sukham. Sattvika Sukham, Rajasic Sukham, and Tamasic Sukham. Now, when I explain, you will understand what category we usually get into. He says in Gita chapter 18, Yaddadagre Vishamiva Pariname Amrutopamam Satsukam Satvikam Proktam Atma Buddhi Prasadacham. Understand that joy is called Satvik, the highest pure one among the joys, which begins with pain. Yattadagre vishamiva. Anybody would like to eat poison? It is like poison. Poison in the sense what? That in the beginning you don't feel like having it. Pariname, when it changes, later on, Amruta Upamam equal to nectar. Tatsukam Satvikam Proktam. That is called Satvik joy. Atma Buddhi Prasadajam. It is born out of your own intellect, which has turned towards your own self. That is why any sadhana you take, whether it's japa you take, or puja you do, or even seva that you want, in the beginning you don't feel like doing it. Isn't it? If I say, do seva to something, don't ask anything, just do the seva. Why should I do? You ask your children, do some volunteering. Do I get hours? Without that, they won't do it. Do I get hours? Do I get to have that record? Do I get a certificate? Then only we'll do it. So anything, help somebody, or some do and some karma yoga, or sit in front of Bhagavan and do some japa. Oh, Ram, 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 Ram. Yeah, unwillingly, uninterestedly. So in the beginning, you don't feel like doing it. That's why it is said, Yattadagre Vishamiva. In the beginning, it is like, or study Bhagavad-Gita. Oh, Swamiji, samay nahi mil raha hai. So, kuch what watching that Saas Bhi Ek Din Bahuti and all that, you have a lot of time. But this, I don't have time. My Gita पढ़ने के लिए समय नहीं, Ramayana nahi, Bhagavad, no, forget about it. So in the beginning, all sadhanas, you do it reluctantly, unwillingly, because it's not giving you immediate joy. Unlike eating an ice cream or watching a movie, it doesn't give that kind of a joy. Yattadagre vishamiva. But when you sustain it, continue it, you suddenly find your mind has become quiet and calm and peaceful. Pariname amruta upamam. It becomes like drinking a nectar. Tatsukam satvikam proktam. That is called satvik. Atma buddhi prasadacham. It is coming because you are coming closer to your own self. You are coming very close to the proximate of your own being. Whenever you are close to yourself, you are actually at rest. That's why I said, in the sleep, you are with yourself, nobody else. Atma buddhi prasadam, it comes towards your own being. Now, what is Rajasic Sukham, which we all like, what it is? Vishaya Indriya Samyogat. Vishaya Indriya Samyogat. Sense objects and sense organs are coming in contact with each other. After dinner, I need ice cream. That is a Vishaya. Vishaya Indriya Sanyog. Sanyog means experience of the objects with the help of the senses. Vishaya Indriya Samyogat. Yad agre amrutopamam. In the beginning, it looks like, wow, so much joy. That Rasagulla landing on my tongue, or a jalebi landing. Nowadays I changed my, example also. I used to give Rasagulla now, because I used to give the Rasagulla example saying that when you then there's a black cockroach coming out of it. Swamiji, you're gross, just to make you feel bad. Then, so when you press the Rasagulla, white Rasagulla, black cockroach comes out. The people say this is too much, and I okay. You take a orange color jalebi, and you come closer to you, see a red ant coming out of it. Anyway, so whenever we have a sensory experience, it begins with the joy. Vishayendriya Sanyogat Yattadagre Amrutopamam Pariname Vishamiva. Later on, it becomes dangerous. It really takes a toll of your body, or it makes an addiction. Shorts, YouTube shorts, TikTok, or what is it called? Snapshot. Reela. Whatever. So you go on and 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 on. Time wasted, mind is disturbed. You also want to feel like doing something like that. So this is how later on it becomes so dangerous. So Vishayendriya Sanyogat Yattadagre Amrutopamam Pariname Vishamiva Tatsukam Rajasam Smritam. That is called Rajasic. That is not the one which is going to give you at the end of it a good taste. It will leave only bad taste. That is called Rajasic Sukham. What is tamas then? So tamas, he says, Yadagre cha anubandhe cha sukham mohanam atmana. Whether you are doing that experience or even later also, it only dilutes your mind, leading to strong addiction to things. And also nidra, which are all those? Nidra, alasya, pramada, uttam, tat tamasam. Sleep, laziness, or living with so much of mindless engagements. Pramada. Pramada means continuously making blunders. Nidra alisya pramadottam tat tamasam udahritam. Some people know, Swamiji, I am very tired of sleeping. Because they sleep so much, 10 hours, get up for 2 hours, like Kumbhakarna. Some people are like Kumbhakarna. They love to sleep. And that sukham is actually tamasic. Or some people just lie down like a potato, in the potato, like a coach potato, doing nothing. So, especially women don't like men like that. When men sit down and do the fishing, have you ever seen a woman doing the fishing? Anybody? They just cannot do it. Because man alone put and then sit there. Watch doing that. What are you doing? Nothing. How can you do nothing? And that's we are capable of doing that. Tamas alasya. Alasya means laziness. Nidra alasya pramadottam tat tamasam udahritam. So, one should come out of this engaging oneself in the tamasic sukham and slowly move to rajas. From rajas to when you start enjoying the sattvic sukham, then you lift further up to anand. So that is the reason why Gurudev used to say, you as a sannyasin will never sit quietly, keep working. Because, and what kind of work? That work which is not meant for you. That work which will help others. That sattvic sukham you start enjoying, then you know how to get into the state of meditation. When you start enjoying doing for others, that mind has become so clear and pure. And when you sit down quietly, the mind has no more expectations, disappointments. And such a mind is ready for lifting itself to the higher plane to find its own ananda. So that is why Bhagavad-Gita teaches, even in the beginning itself, Bhagavan Krishna teaches Arjuna to do karma yoga. You take up your duty, do it selflessly. Then only you will get the sattvic sukham. So, it is said that Bhagavan talks about ananda in different ways. He says, Atma Vashyer Videyatma Prasadam Adhigacchati. Slowly, when you are coming to your own self, Atma Vashya, having understood where I am going to, Atma Vashyehi Videyatma, what one gets is Prasadam. You know what is Prasad? What do you call it in North? Prasad. Prasad. Ye Prasad. No, the mandir mein dete hai, wo Prasad ho gaya. But Prasad actually means mind undisturbed. Prasad. Prasanna means mind quiet. Mind not agitated. That's called Prasad. And he says, Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanihi asya upajayate prasanna chetaso hiyashu buddhi paryavatishthati. Na asti buddhya yuruktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayadashantihi ashantasya kutasukam. When a person mind able to get that mental quietude, sarva dukkhanam hanihi. Prasada means, when you go to a temple and the priest gives you prasad, you take whatever comes, right? You don't look at, that one has got more than me. You don't change, you don't compare. Whatever you get is what you get. That attitude should be there in everything. What I get is what I deserve. I mean, even though I work hard, but as you know, even if you work hard, what comes to you is what you deserve, and take it with that sense. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanihi. Hani means nasha. All sorrows will come to an end when you are able to accept what comes to your life without any complaint. Swamiji is very hard because our expectations are so high, and when we expectations are not met, we get so troubled, so disturbed, so unhappy. We don't realize one thing: our life in this world is very short, but the soul's journey is very long. When we don't realize this, we are very much affected by small things in our life. When we realize our journey of the soul is so long, many lives, this is only one among the thousands of lives we are going through. And so if we are not ready to improve now, it will never happen. So in this life, whatever I am getting, why am I getting caught in that and troubled by that? So what? Let it be so. I am I'm going for a different purpose here. I have a different goal altogether. The small pinpricks of life will be there. Nobody in this world is free of all troubles. Think of that guy, 15 years only is going to live, right? He's already 10 years old, what?
3.
3 years. Okay.
He just did.
Okay. Is he sitting and worrying? Only 12 more years. If you are told, only 12 more years for you, even that is doubtful. Would you think that you will get up at all? Every day you count. Isn't that true? So as much as that fellow has got only 15 years, we are ours is a little more. That's all. Ultimately, it is going to end. Why are we so caught up in our own, mental agitations and disappointments and disagreements? And chalo, chhod do usko. Keep going. My aim is to find peace in my mind. Whatever others behave, whatever, let them do it. It's their problem. If somebody is not good, it is their problem. What can I do? If as much as I can help. But each one of us are independent journey. Nobody came with anybody. Understand that. Nobody came with anybody. Every one of us have come on. Your children did not come with you. Your husband or wife definitely did not come with you. Everybody is independently living in this world. And nobody can take anybody else's karma also. I cannot take your problems or your karma with me. I cannot. Even if I want to. So we have to work out our own karma. We have to work in such a way, intelligently handle the disappointments of life, saying that this is what I deserve. Okay, let me get above that. Keep moving. Charaivedi Upanishads. Keep moving. Don't stop. So that is called prasada buddhi. सब जो मिलता है मेरे जीवन में वो सब प्रसाद है, भगवान का प्रसाद है. प्रसादे सर्व दुक्खानां हानिरस्योपजायते prasanna chetasaha. One who has this mind which is placid and quiet, buddhihi pari avatishtade. This buddhi, is wisdom, becomes steady. You will not get deluded that easily. But such a person who is not doing that, na asti buddhi ayuktasya, na cha ayuktasya bhavana. Such a person who is not having prasada buddhi cannot sit quietly in meditation. And in the meditation, if the mind is not gaining the inner shanti, where is the question of joy? Any joy that we get in this world is also nothing but inner peace only. I'll tell you how. See, if you want something and the mind is agitated over wanting that again and again and again, moment you give, it becomes quiet. Is it not? After some day, again, something else it wants. Anytime when we get anything you call joy is nothing but mind has become quiet. It is not the object is giving you joy. Its mind has become quiet. So if you are hungry and I want food, the mind is agitated because the hunger is there. Moment you give food, there is no more agitation in the mind, peaceful. Coffee. Next one has come. Okay, coffee also give quiet. Ice cream. So ice cream also give quiet. Pan. It never stops, I'm telling you. And then you pan is okay. And sleep. Sleep. So this is how the mind disturbed, when the disturbance of the mind is removed, peace. So if I can find the peace even without the help of the external thing, that is called Anand. So that's why he says, Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukam vashi. Sukam aste. Navadware pure dehi naiva kurvan nakarayan. Krishna says a yogi is one who has given up his all agitations in his mind itself, he renounced and remains in this very same body because his mind has no more expectations in the world. He is able to keep his mind at one place. There used to be a Mahatma called Ramana Maharshi in South India. And if you go to Ramana Ashram, in the place where he used to give darshan or talk to people, he was not even much of a person who never would give lecture, etc. He would only answer questions. But the place where he used to sit down or lie down, and he will not talk, he will just look at people. And the very look itself would give so much of peace to people. Even today, if you go and sit in that, you went recently. You went to that hall?
Yes, yes.
You went to that? I recommend you all to do that. So go and sit there in the very place. It's a small room, maybe a little bigger than that. Mind will naturally become so quiet. You don't need to do anything. Because the power of the Mahatma who lived there, and so many people have come there to meditate, remembering him, his mind is so quiet, still. Such a person is called Navadware Pure Dehi Naiva Kurvan Nakarayan. A person who has gained that inner peace because he's renounced all his expectations and desires and agitation in the mind. Such a person, when he sits there, even when he doesn't say a word, the mind becomes so blissful. So that's why he says here, Krishna says, Bahya Sparsheshu Asaktatma Vindadi Atmani Yat Sukam Sab Brahma Yoga Yuktatma Sukam Akshayam Ashnute. When you withdraw your senses from the world and are able to find inner joy, it's only a glimpse of that imperishable joy when you are abiding in your own self. When you are with yourself, which is nothing but bliss itself, anybody who is around you also will get the same amount of joy. It is like, when you see musicians, when they are about to start the song or anything, they start tuning themselves, right? The singer will start with a particular raga, and then he will ask the tambura guy to also tune to that. And then the mridangam or tabla guy to tune to that. Or the harmonium or violin, he also should tune to the same, what do you call that? Swara. Then only the song will have the symphony. Otherwise, it's called cacophony. So, just like a singer would like all his instruments around tuned to the same swara, then the song will have such an amount of effect. In the same way, when our mind gets tuned to the universal self and start receiving that bliss which is always present all over in everyone, because essentially, as I said, everybody is essentially that Ananda only. If I am able to tune to that, anybody around me will also get tuned to that. That's the beauty of it. You may probably know this, that certain wavelength of sound can break the glasses. If I make the certain amount of wavelength, it will break the glasses. You know that. Physics can prove it. It doesn't even touch the glass. That wavelength of sound has the capacity to destroy the glass. In the same way, one who is able to tune to that Ananda of the self, people around him who are able to tune to him will get the same thing. Just like a musician when he is singing, and if you know the raga, what he's singing, and if you are able to tune your mind to the same thing, you start enjoying it much more than anybody else. That is why it is said, such Mahatmas, when they are able to tune themselves to the higher bliss, and such people, when they are in a complete abidance in that, anybody who is in their presence also will get to that same point. So that is called Paramaanandam. This is what Bhagavad-Gita says, that which is already present in you, you can go and discover that, provided your mind is able to move from tamasic sukham, which is nothing but sleep and laziness, to rajasic sukham, which is coming out of the senses, etc., to sattvic sukham in sadhana, then you move to the highest level of ananda. Bhagavan Krishna says, Sukham atyantikam yattad buddhi grahyam atindriyam vedti yatra na chaivayam sitas chalati tatvadaha. One who has gained this beginningless, endless joy which is already there, after that, that person cannot be moved out of it by anything. Such a person would not come down to any other level. He has reached a point, that joy, he cannot compare with anything else. Yam labdvana param labam manyate adhikam. Nothing is more than that. It is like, some people have a sweet and then drink coffee. It will be bitter. You know why? Because the tongue has reached a higher level of sugar. And then if you drink coffee, it will become bitter because that coffee taste won't match with it. In the same way, once who has reached the higher level of Ananda, others will become bitter only. What is nothing. So we must reach that point of Ananda. Bhagavad-Gita gives us the ways to go there. Now, next topic is Ajnaana-naashinyai Namah. How do we reach there? It is by removing our misconceptions, removing our misunderstanding. See, we have always been told that we are jivas who are subject to birth, death, old age, suffering, all this. And in the Semitic religions, they call us as sinners. To begin with, what is it? Oh, yeah, sinners. Starting with, you are useless. But in our Hinduism only, they don't call us sinners. They say Amritasya Putra. Vivekananda, when he addressed the audience, he said, we are the children of the immortality. So, Ajnanam is misunderstanding. Let us say, I'm coming to this house and so before I start from the ashram, somebody said, oh, you are going to that house there? Yes. You don't know her. You don't know her. Shailaja is not a good person, She is really very proud, arrogant person. I don't know. Nobody told me. And you are not, I know that. So somebody says like that, for example. So when I enter the house and look at her, what will be the first thought that will come to me?
You all think about that.
Yeah, I will think and think, why is she not smiling? She is very egoistic person. But see, because I'm misinformed. When I'm misinformed, I consider that misinformation as correct. Then my perception will continuously be about her will be wrong. So too, I am misinformed about myself. What your parents, did they tell you you are Amrutasya Putra? Did they tell you? Mera putra hai, mera putra hai. Useless one. So they have, in the school they never told you that you are an immortal person, immortal being. Did they tell you? Did they tell you? Did they tell you you are Ananda Swarup? Did they tell you? Did they say you are a none other than the divine nature of God? Did they tell you that? No. So I also, when I went through the school, university, etc., like anybody else, also understood myself as anybody. This one, I can go there and then get some education, go to the school, go to university, go to work and this and that, and get married and then parent. But when Gurudev came into my life and said, "Do not think you are this." I mean, not only to me, everybody he was addressing, saying that, why do you mistake yourselves to be a mortal entity subject to birth and death? You are not. You have the freedom to be free. You have the freedom to be happy all the time. You can choose to be peaceful. And your choice is this. Nobody told me this before. So how does he talk about that? Because he gained that knowledge which has destroyed his ajnanam, misunderstanding. See, when I come into their house with that notion that she is arrogant, proud, etc., unless I interact with her and then come to know that what my understanding about her is wrong and the person who told me is also wrong, it takes time. So too, for many lives we have misunderstood ourselves. You know how much time it takes? And for that, we need to have faith in the Guru, faith in the Shastra, because that tells us you are not what you think you are. You are not a mortal entity. You are not a miserable existence. You are not limited by birth and death. You are an immortal one, blissful one, divine one, Bhagavad-amshaha. You are none other than the part and expression of God. See, in all other religions, they don't say God is in you. They'll say God is in the heaven. You have to pray and then you go to heaven and you meet him there whenever you can. But only Hinduism says God is in you as you. Don't go anywhere else. You will find it there itself. Going to a temple or praying or all is to turn your attention to your own being, your own divine being. It's not that going to a temple you get something. No. Whereas they'll say, and if you don't come to the church, you will not go to heaven. Now, why should I come to the church to go to the heaven? One priest was walking down and then there was a boy in the corner. So the priest was new to the town. So he called that boy. I have a question. The boy said, yes. What is the way to the post office? He asked. He said, you don't even know how to go to post office. How are you going to take us to heaven? So it is as though somebody has to take us. No. The Guru also, a true Guru is one, he does not carry you. He will say, I'm going to show you the way, you walk the path. Individually, you have to go yourself. Because it is everybody's right. It's not only the priest. Everybody's right to reach that. And what we need to overcome is our own misunderstanding about ourselves. See, when we misunderstand ourselves, we can fight with that person or get rid of that person or go away. But if you misunderstand with yourself, where will you go? Where will you go? It's always with you. If you don't know yourself, this misunderstanding will continue forever. Once we understand who we are, I am immortal, I am blissful, I am essentially free, I am essentially divine. You know the magic thing that happens? Then I start looking at everybody in the same way. If I am immortal, she is also immortal. If I am blissful, she is also essentially blissful only. If I am divine, others are also equally divine only. They don't know, probably. Not that I know it, but I am trying to discover that. Everybody has got the opportunity to discover this. Everybody has got the right to know this. That's why Gurudev said, everybody had the right to know. I will not stop until at the end of my life telling everybody this. That's why he took Bhagavad-Gita as a tool and started to tell the world, please understand this. You have been misguided by your own education. That's why you would call all of educated idiots. You don't understand what this is. Your culture, your Hinduism talks to you about your own greatness, your own divinity. So that is why it says, Bhagavan says, Jnanenu tu tajnanam yesham nashidam atmanaha. One, those whom the knowledge would destroy this ignorance. They are the people who are able to attain the highest. But before we get to that highest knowledge, like anything requires certain amount of adjustment, so too our mind needs certain adjustments. That's why in 13th chapter he gives 20 values. Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Kshanti, Arjavam. In this way, 20 values he gives. Many of our children are also learning in our Balvihar. I think which grade it is? I think 9th grade. No, 7th grade. They learn about the 20 values from Bhagavad-Gita. Values. Why that is important? Because only when we make these adjustments, we will be able to gain that knowledge. If we are proud, if you are arrogant, if you are angry, if you are jealous, if you are deluded, if we are having so much of attachment, so much of self-pride, etc., knowledge will not take place. See, it is like this. When you are taking a vegetable from the market, first thing what you do, even if they say it's all clean, etc., won't you clean at home? Because you do not know how many people handled it and where and all it went. So you clean the way with the proper water first. Then you remove the skin also. Because that is not what you wanted to use. So that also has certain amount of dirt. Then you cut it. Then you cook it. Then finally when it becomes a full cooked food, it is edible. So you have to go through the process before it becomes a food. Nowadays I'm dangerous, because children take the milk. I can never think of that because you do not how they are, unless you boil it, you will not be sure whether the germs are destroyed. Oh, it's all pasteurized. It's dangerous. So you always, even water, they say first of all boil it and then only drink. Because so many germs are there. So even as you buy the vegetables, you clean it first and remove the skin, then cut it properly and then cook it, and then only you consider that as a properly cooked food. So too, our mind has to become mature. It is called, in like pakwa, pach in Sanskrit means to cook. Pachati means cooked, that is being cooked. Then that which has become cooked is called pakwa. In another meaning of pakka is called mature. So mind has to become pakka. In Hindi mein pakka hota hai, right? Pakwa. Pakwa means what? Mature. Only when the mind is mature, it can easily understand what the Guru is saying. It is like a tree is there in your backyard. Let us say you have a mango tree and a lot of mangoes are there. But only when the mango has become ripened, you don't need to do anything. It will fall off. Correct or not? You don't need to stick on its own, it will fall out. When does it fall? When it becomes ripened. In the same way, your mind will naturally detach from all other impurities, whether it is desire, anger, greed, jealousy, delusion, pride, self-esteem, all. It will just drop it. That mind which has become mature, alone, ready for knowledge. That's why Bhagavan, having enumerated all the 20 values, he said, Etat jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yatatonyata. When you have these qualities, amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, shanti, that is called pakwa. Such a mind has got ready for knowledge. All other things will remain only in ajnana. So Bhagavad-Gita points out how to get out of this ajnana. First, he says, get into the values. Now, the other day, I was also asking this question to the kids, they were in the 7th grade, about values. Somebody asked, Swamiji, how do you explain a value? I said, what is the value of this watch? So, Swami, I don't know, you bought it. So, let us say it is, some $50, let us say, right? So, the value of this watch is $50. But why did I pay $50 to get it? Because I consider having a watch is more valuable than carrying a $50 in my pocket. Because it has a value. Because I can watch, or again, if the phone comes, it will show. So it has more value than just the $50 I paid. It has a reason. It has a purpose in my life. Then only it is valuable. If it stops working, it's not a value at all. Even if you buy a knife has a value so long as you are able to cut it. It's not for show. So in the same way, value of a thing is when it becomes valuable to you. It's not the value money that is put in that object. And I'd say the $10 or $15, $20. What is useful to you? If it is, you find that it is not of adding any value to your life, you will not buy it. Even if it is there, you will not buy it. Even if you can afford it, you will not buy it, right? Don't say, because on sale, I will buy it. In the same way, we should start understanding the value of those things. What does egolessness means? What does absence of anger means? What does absence of desire means? How does it add value to my life? If I don't think of it, I will not practice it. What does ahimsa means in my life? That's why Gandhi also said that I had started experimenting on non-violence. He didn't say that I have mastered it. No, my experiments with truths. That is a book he wrote. I want to find out how telling a truth is valuable to me. How ahimsa is valuable to me. Once he was in South Africa, much before he came to India, he was organizing the protest against the, Britishers there, South African regime, saying that you are considering everything as. He was already a lawyer at that point, and he started the process of protesting against the hegemony. So once such a protest was going on, and he was going to lead it, and he got out of the train to be part of that thing, and one guy took a stone and hit him in a crowd. It just came and hit him straight on his face. Immediately he looked at that person. He could immediately see who the person was. So immediately he was taken to the police, to the station to get him wounded, dressed and all that. And then the police officer said, do you know the person who had hit you with the stone? Yes. Where is he? Please tell us, we will arrest him. Don't arrest him. I'm not going to put a complaint against him. But he hit you, and that's an offense. It's a criminal offense. He should not do that. So he is subject. You are a lawyer. I don't need to tell you that he needs to be punished. But if I don't complain, will you punish? Obviously, that law doesn't, if you don't complain, it is not he cannot be, arrested. No, we don't. No, I don't want to complain. So they asked, why? Because after he hit me, I looked at his face, he felt guilty. That is enough. That is all I needed. That is all he need to learn. He learned it. Believe him. Because after all, punishment should lead to him to correct, right? Punishment should not lead him to become more violent. Punishment must be in such a way that he becomes not one who repeats the offense again. I see in his eyes that he has regretted for what he did. That is sufficient for me. He has learned it. So now you see, so the non-violence became his very strong point. Without being violent, how can I correct the situation? No, so one value, Himsa is one value. So every such value, 20 values Bhagavan Krishna provides in Gita, once you know the value of that thing in your life, then alone it will become you. So Bhagavan Krishna calls that as a jnana. Etat jnanam iti proktam. Only when this kind of a very fine adjustment takes place in your mind, which becomes mature, even as the Guru speaks, you will know it. You will have no struggle in understanding. So our mind is not tuned to that. My mind is not mature. So that's why even we hear it again and again, read it again and again, it doesn't really get into us. Why? We are not prepared. When the mind is not mature. So there's a story about Namdev also. I remember that in Maharashtra there's a story about that. Oh, Kumbhakar comes and hits the pots, and then he knows by hitting the pot whether it is properly baked or not. There's a story about it, and then he goes and hits the head of Namdev. It's not Pakka. He gets very upset about that. Anyway, so Bhagavan Krishna says that Jnanam is possible only when the values are in place, correct place. And how to eradicate Jnanam, he says, Ajnanam, Bhagavan Krishna says, those people who are mature, those who have gained the values in place, Tesham, for these people, Adityavat Jnanam Prakashate. These people will get their knowledge which will shine to them their own inner self. Jnanena tu tatajnanam esham nashidam atmanah tesham adityavat jnanam prakashayati tatparam. Only when the ajnana is gone with the right knowledge coming from the teacher, such a person, to him, the inner self which is shining always will become very, very clear. Tasmad ajnana sambhudam hritsam jnanasinatmanah chitvenam samshayam yogam adishto uttishta bharata. So with the knowledge as your sword, destroy, because ajnan, what it does is, ignorance, what it does, it creates a lot of doubt. As I said, if I have mistaken her because of somebody told me something, I take it for granted. When I look at her, all the doubts only will come. Is she like this? I think you smile. I think she's smiling as a mockery on me. So, I can, all the doubts will come. So too, when I misunderstand myself, I will have only full of doubts. And a man of doubt perishes. For him, there is no joy in this world also. So doubtless knowledge, if you want to gain, the mind has to become filled with correct values. And having no doubt in the words of the Guru, having no doubt in the words of the Shastra, scriptures, and such a person, doubtless one alone, becomes fit for the highest knowledge. And that knowledge will reveal you to yourself. You will come to understand who you are. Once you understand who you are, you will not mistake anybody else also. Because everybody is the same. So that is the beauty of Ajnaana-naashinyai. Bhagavad-Gita teaches us how to destroy Ajnana. So this way, two things we saw today. One is called Paramaananda, Paramaananda-pradaayai Namah. Ajnaana-naashinyai Namah. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasyit Dukkhabhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om.
Thank you.